Okay, I want everyone to take a look at these lines of code right here. What does this look like to you? A jumble of words and confusion all over the place? Well, let me tell you this. I'm not surprised if that's what this looks like to you, because that's exactly what lines of code looked like to me the first time I saw someone writing them. It looked difficult and it was really confusing. Now, if I were to ask you guys to write these exact same lines of code in a day, you guys would probably feel overwhelmed at having to learn something like this, right? Well, I felt the same way when I saw code for the first time. But now, here I am writing these lines of code by myself. How do you think so? I'm Neha Gogineni, and today I'm going to share with you how optimism can lead you to a huge reward, success. See, this may seem like a small and unnecessary topic to discourse, but it's actually of huge importance that this topic of optimism be addressed because it's so badly needed, especially in today's world and during tough times. A study by Boston University has shown that people with an optimistic mindset have an 11 to 15% longer lifespan than people with a pessimistic mindset do. I mean, guys, that's crazy. You can live longer if you think positive. Now, pessimism can be dangerous as it can lead to depression, which could potentially be harmful. And this is so important because pessimism is so prevalent that over half the population in the world today looks at their life as a glass that is half empty rather than a glass that is half full. That's so crazy because so many people in the world couldn't even take a second to think about the good in their life. Now, I can tell you this, it's not hard at all to look at the good in your life because if you're alive despite any or all of the challenges that you're facing, then that's a success for you right there. Obviously, I couldn't share or emphasize this message to you about optimism without actually having a story to tell you about why this message is so important to me. So let me tell you about two experiences in my life that helped me realize that cultivating an optimistic mindset can be the key to success. Now, even though some of these experiences may seem small, they all helped me grow as a person. My first experience was basketball. Basketball was a part of my life from a rather young age. I started playing intramural basketball for school in third grade, and I joined the team from 4th to 6th grade, but then I took a break in 7th grade. So when I was in 8th grade, I decided that was going to be my last year to play basketball because I wanted to do other things in high school. So I tried out for the team, and I made C team. There are 3 teams, A team, B team, and C team, and A team was the best. So I was really disappointed when I made C team because, I mean, anyone would when they make the worst team. But my mom always told me to think positive. And then I realized that making C team was better than not making any team at all. So I thought I would play my best that year, regardless of what team I made, so I could actually have a good last year of playing basketball. When I got onto the court, all I would see was 5 defenders between me and the basket, and I knew I could make it to the basket. So I didn't even want to think that I couldn't, because if I did, I'd be putting myself down even before I started to try. This optimism rewarded me with a huge promotion from C team to B team, and then eventually to A team. Now, this may not seem huge to some of you, but it was definitely a form of success for me. But basketball wasn't the only thing that helped me realize that an optimistic mindset can lead me to success. My family was the second and biggest part of that realization. We all had to learn to pull together when my sister was diagnosed with severe migraines, and that wouldn't have been possible without an optimistic mindset that my mom brought in. My sister was in very serious pain when she was diagnosed with migraines, and the months to follow weren't great at all as she stopped socializing and she became super quiet, which just wasn't like her at all. She eventually went into a sort of depression and she started arguing with everybody around her. Everything was just slowly falling apart. But despite all of this, she was strong and she stayed optimistic about her situation when it came to taking medications at the right time and doing the exercises she was taught to do in order to suppress the pain. On the other hand, my mom was trying to pull everything back together while facing other challenges in her life as well. She was on top of everything as a stay-at-home mom, and even though she was exhausted by the end of the day, she knew and made sure I knew that we had to stay positive about the situation and make sure that no negative energy would go around my sister. It was a hard time, a really, really hard time for all of us, but eventually things started to fall back into place. Nevertheless, without my mom, we would have never been able to get through this time in our lives. My sister and my mom showed everybody around them through this experience to look at things in a more positive way. And it was them that made me realize that cultivating an optimistic mindset can put you on the path to success. Now, I guess the optimism thing was in our blood because the last time I checked, my blood type was B positive. Now, let's go back to these lines of code. How do you think I got from having such a negative mindset about code to doing this? Well, let me tell you this. Because of these 3 experiences, I realized that if I looked at the more positive side, instead of the more negative, difficult side, I'd say, then I could do it. And now, here I am, writing these lines of code by myself. Some of you may be wondering, how do I think more optimistic? How do I look at things in a more positive way? Well, here are some great ways that you can begin pursuing an optimistic mind. First, just turn off the news, take a break from it for a while. Second, focus on your positives. Third, acknowledge and show gratitude to those who are around you. Fourth, don't try to predict your future. And fifth, focus on your success. And that would be a great beginning to pursue an optimistic mindset. Cultivating an optimistic mindset can help you achieve things that may seem impossible, as it can lead you to be more hardworking and persistent, which will then lead you to a reward of success. It helped me during tough times and with coding, and now all I have to do is press that green button on that screen for me to get my reward. That's what I coded, a picture of my family. Because of these 3 experiences, I've realized that optimism is not ignoring your challenges or the negative, but in fact, it's overcoming them. And that's a real success. Thank you.